On the 6th of May this year, there was a near miss on the runway at LaGuardia, one of the busiest airports on the East Coast. Let's take a look at just exactly how near this miss was.
2657, uniform, Romeo, hold short of 13, stay with me. Uniform, Romeo, hold short of 13.
Okay, so the first player in this near miss is going to be United 2657. There's going to be a Brickyard aircraft that ground control starts talking to in a minute. Now, this is just slightly after midnight at LaGuardia, and you can see how busy LaGuardia is, really kind of around the clock. You would think this is the middle of the afternoon with all the traffic. Now, on your screen, you see all of the, it's the ADSB data from where all the aircraft are and how they're moving. There's people landing, coming into the picture. The main runway in use now is runway 31 for takeoffs and runway 4 for landings. So at the very bottom left of your screen, people are landing, and it's very common at LaGuardia to have the intersection takeoffs and landings like that. So they'll put you in position on runway 13 and they'll say, caution, landing traffic on runway 4. As soon as runway 4 lands and goes past runway 13, they'll clear you for takeoff. They thread the needle here at LaGuardia. There's also people taxiing back and forth. Ground control and tower are talking to separate people at separate times, and sometimes they get their wires crossed.
Good evening, Tower Endeavor 4990. Benji for ILS-4.
Step for the 9 Liberty Tower, base reported at 250 feet, 1070 at 9, runway 4, clear to land, traffic departs 13.
Clear to land, runway 4, Endeavor 4990.
So Endeavor's landing on runway 4, as I just described. He says there's going to be traffic in position on runway 3, so just have a heads up for that as you're looking out. I think the weather is kind of not so good here. Its visibility is kind of low, but it's okay. Everybody's taking off and landing. We'll be right back, but first I need to tell you about our sponsor, BetterHelp. Before I was flying the 777 or making YouTube videos, I was actually earning my doctorate in family counseling. In those early years, I sat with people who were grieving, stuck, angry, exhausted, and brave enough to talk about it. That time taught me something I'll never forget. People don't need to be fixed. They need to be heard. And when someone really listens, that can change everything. That's why I believe in therapy, and that's why I'm proud to partner with BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. They connect you with licensed therapists who are trained to help you process what you're going through and offer tools to handle it with clarity and confidence. You start by filling out a brief questionnaire, and in just a few days, you'll be matched with someone who fits your needs. The whole process is online, no awkward waiting rooms or long drives. And if your first match isn't the right fit, you can switch therapists at no extra cost. So if something's weighing on you or you're just ready to talk, visit betterhelp.com/Captain Steeeve to get 10% off your first month. That link's also in the description. You don't have to do life alone. Getting help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign you're ready to move forward. And thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Sponsors like this really help us to make more content for you.
Now 2657, you're going to turn left onto runway 13, okay. Then taxi down 13 and go to ground point 7.
Okay, let's turn on runway 13 and we'll go ground point 7.
So the instructions to United 2657 was to turn left onto runway 13 and contact ground. So you got to do that like right away. Usually, even before I turn onto runway 13, I will contact ground and say, hey, ground, it's us. We're turning onto runway 13. Basically, I want further instructions. I don't want to stay on an active runway taxiing any longer than I have to. For the obvious reasons, there's lots of danger that could take place. So the United's all over it right now.
4736, monitor tower.
Okay, the next player has just entered. It's Brickyard 4736. This is going to be the second player in this near collision, and they're getting taxied up to runway 13 to be put into line up and wait. It's called position and hold. It used to be to get ready to take off.
3975, monitor tower.
Okay, so that Brickyard flight has just been handed off to tower. Now remember, United is talking to ground. Now what's the difference? The two different frequencies for one, so they can't hear each other. That's a big deal. Now up in the tower, the ground controller is standing basically right next to the tower controller. So it's easy. They've also got ground radar, both of them, so they can look and see where the other aircraft are on the airport. Even if they can't see them visually, they can see them on the ground radar. Both have that option. And the other is they're talking to each other. They can turn to the other person and say, hey, this guy's here. I just gave that guy there. Hold on a second. You know, he's still on the runway. They can do that. It doesn't exactly go that way. Okay, so now United 2657 checks in. Says we're taxiing on runway 13, and he's actually done that just as he's turning on to the runway, and I would do it that way. Good job so far.
United 2657. You could actually make this quick right turn at Sierra, and then left Papa Bravo, Kilo Alpha Lane 7.
Okay, so look at the screen now. They just turned onto the runway. The first right that they can take is onto Sierra. It's kind of a quick turn, but he said to him, you can make this quick turn. Then he gives him Sierra, and then he gives him a whole long string of other. You got to turn left on Papa, onto Bravo, and then Kilo, and then onto Alpha, and then lane 7. So now the co-pilot is probably writing all this down. The captain, who's taxiing at this point, because it's always the captain that taxis, is listening to all of that. And as they're listening to it to make sure that the co-pilot got it right, captain's looking outside, but many times, because you're cataloging all of those instructions in your head, he passes right by Sierra. He misses that first quick turn. That's going to cause a problem.
Turn here, Papa Bravo, Kilo Alpha. That's United.
First mistake. They missed Sierra.
4736 traffic, you're ready. You can line up on weight 13. Traffic lands runway 4.
Oh, now we're loading the cannon here. We just put Brickyard 4736 into lineup and wait on the runway, right? So we got them set to take off. We've got United 2657 just missed their turn on runway 13. They're still on the runway.
About 13 line and wait, Brickyard 4736.
Two different frequencies. Remember this.
United 2657. I want to take it down to Lima, and then right turn out for lane 7.
Lima.
Now it's a little difficult to see on the screen, but Lima is way down there. Lima is another probably 1,500 feet away, and at their taxi speed, it's going to take them a while to get to Lima. Now look, they're taxiing. They're talking to ground. They're taxiing down to Lima.
472, right turn on Papa. Join Bravo, ground point 7. Good night.
Papa, ground point.
Okay, so one of the things we miss here in the transmission is we don't have the tower frequency up just yet. But Brickyard 4736 is going to get cleared for takeoff, and there's still an airplane on the runway. It's United 2657. They haven't turned off yet. How could they have trapped, how could the tower and the ground controller have trapped this threat? They could have trapped it this way. The ground radar shows them that there's two people on this runway right now. So they're going to double check with each other that United has made it off. The tower controller thinks that United has already departed the runway. They could turn and talk to each other. I don't know if that happened. I don't think it did. I don't think they're even looking at the ground radar. I think tower is just kind of doing his thing. Ground's kind of doing his thing. The last thing the tower controller heard from the ground controller was turn right on Sierra. And he thinks, oh, this guy's already gone. He probably missed the whole, sorry, we missed that turn. We're going down to Lima. He clears them for takeoff. They're going to accelerate as United slows down to make their turn. A formula, a recipe for failure here.
7, thanks, JetBlue 472. 26, after turn right on the Bravo Alpha.
Yeah, 2657, it's going to be a right turn Alpha Lone 7.
Right turn Alpha.
Okay, so United is now clarifying their instructions. We're going to zoom in here for you because watch how fast Brickyard picks up speed.
Good evening again, serving 1940 with the ILS runway 04. For takeoff from my 13 Brickyard 4736.
They're cleared for takeoff and away they go.
Good evening, Spirit Wings 1940 with the ILS 4.
Spirit 1940 tower number 3, following Frontier about 4.5 ahead.
Here it comes.
0609er. What?
Okay, number 3, standing by landing clearance, and we got moderate rain during this.
Now, at this point, the tower is trying to reach out to Brickyard, but Spirit is talking on the frequency. So this is a problem with the old system. The old system of radios, only one person can talk at a time. If somebody else keys up the mic, it blocks the frequency, and all you hear, everybody hears, is this, like. So nothing gets transmitted, so the message doesn't get delivered. There's got to be a better system, and I can't wait for them to bring this system into the 21st and get us ready for the 22nd century. There are systems in place that could have averted all of this. They do have a warning that goes off in the tower that lets them know that there's a collision about to happen. But then they go to the old-fashioned, I call it the VW Beetle of communication to broadcast, and it doesn't get through to Brickyard. It does eventually, but it doesn't get in a timely manner.
How's the visit looking now?
Brick at 4736, stop.
Okay, finally, after Spirit stops talking, this guy's been saying stop, stop, stop a bunch of times. If the last stop gets out, Brickyard does a great job. They hear that and they're on it immediately, which averted a disaster.
2657, expedite off, please.
Correct, 2657. Airport 736, project to take off 13.
Brick at 4736, sorry about that. I thought United had cleared well before that. Just stay there for a moment and...
Okay, listen to the controller's voice. It sounds a little shaky. And he's having one of those moments. He's got to keep doing his job, right? Brickyard has rejected on the runway. United now is completely off onto Lima, so it was a narrow miss. They didn't hit each other. That's the good news. But this guy's shaken, right? He just about caused or witnessed an issue that would have been controller induced, and now he's got to give this guy instructions. So again, these are human beings, folks. Mistakes can get made. There's automation that can help with all of this stuff. But again, they missed it. Now, the ADSB data dropped out for Brickyard. They're still on the runway. So don't lose fact of the fact that they're still on the runway.
I got to get the other United out of the way. We'll get you off the runway.
Hold, Brick Airport 736.
Look how calm Brickyard is. Good job, guys.
Tower Brickyard 4736. Are we going to be exiting here? We're going to go to that back to the gate.
4736, affirmative. I'll get you there in a second. Just got a lot of traffic off of your right-hand side there. That's got to move.
All right, copy. We're holding on runway 13, Brickyard 4736.
Okay, Brickyard's communicating. They did a great job with this reject and then the communication. Now, why are they going back to the gate? Well, they had a high-speed reject, and that means they slam on the brakes. When you slam on the brakes, it overheats the brakes, and you've got to go back and get those inspected. It's a requirement. It's going to take them about 30 minutes to get back to the gate because their gate, of course, is occupied now because they were supposed to take off. I don't know what they did with the passengers. Maybe they cooled off the brakes, did an inspection, and they took off. But this is all, at this point now, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. You can imagine being a passenger on that flight.
4736, you can continue, turn right at taxiway Lima, and then right turn on Alpha behind the Delta RJ9 that's ahead and to your right.
All right, Lima Alpha, and then behind the Delta RJ9 to our right. Brickyard 4736.
All right. It took them about 30 minutes to get to the gate. So, folks, the question now at this point is, is it still safe to fly? Yes, it's absolutely safe to fly. The system broke down, but the backups worked. So what was the breakdown? The breakdown was the ground controller and the tower controller should have looked at each other and talked. They should have looked at their ground radar and verified. They obviously missed that. You don't clear one aircraft for takeoff when there's another aircraft on the runway. That's just as simple as it gets. When that did happen, they jumped on it. The tower controller called. Finally, Spirit stopped talking. They got that last transmission out, and then Brickyard was all over it. They were all over it. These guys are well trained. I'm going to retire, in a few months, and I can't wait for young guys like this to replace me because these guys are all over it. They rejected on the runway, and then they kept it calm and cool. They followed the procedures after that, and everybody was safe at the end of the day. So this has a great outcome at the end of it, but man, as Maxwell Smart used to say, they missed it by that much. All right, now you know. I'm Captain Steeve. Fly safe. Hey, don't go yet. Do me a favor. Like and subscribe to this video, and a super big shout out to our friends at Voss Aviation for creating the video that we reacted to today. Thanks, guys.